let's speak real quick. I think we didn't mention this earlier in our story, but let's speak to our credentials a little bit of why this is important to us. Because, like, from my side of things, I worked at one of the largest churches in the nation as their video technical director, and I got to create content all over the world for hundreds of thousands of people. It was really amazing. Got to work with some of the gear that I was drooling over in college and got to really create this awesome stuff. And then after I worked at that church, I then got to work in a ad agency, basically. It was a video production studio, and working with them to create ads for multi-billion-dollar brands. And I really saw this cool niche of like, oh, there's a space for this video podcasting thing. And so I know how to create really engaging video content, and I know how to create really interesting storylines and make it look really, really good. But then from the other side of things, you come from more the creative side of space.
Yeah. Well, and so I used to work at an explainer video company.
Like the premier one in Cincinnati.
Right. And it was a huge experience. I was primarily, at that point, in the, project manager space. I dipped my toes into, some creative direction and different things like that. I worked on some live action projects, a lot of animation projects, and then kind of moving into the role I'm in now, I kind of touch everything. Mm-hmm. And so really what the explainer video company, and then even my role right now, is as I've been thinking about things, like, yes, I definitely, this is where Brian's expertise comes in, because I really want high quality content. Mm-hmm. But what I truly want is to create understanding and provoke action. And because, being understood is kind of like core to, counseling has told me, is very core to who I am. And I think that's why I like video podcasting, is because you can, over time, show more and more of your personality, of your brand, of all these different things that it gets a little intimidating if you're not used to it, speaking in front of cameras and there's lights and things. But especially if you're like talking and having a conversation, there's things that people, like, they can just talk on and on and on and on about. Yeah. And we want to be a space for people to just talk about what makes your brand, your thing awesome, and just go to town on it. And what are the misconceptions that your audience has? All those different things. So I love helping people think through the content piece and making sure that it's not just a pretty thing.
Well, that's a big part of what Devising Good does too, is you're kind of like a creative concepting agency, basically. Right. And you're bringing those skills to the podcast studio to say, like, hey, what does a year's worth of content look like?
Yes.
And how can we creatively plan all this stuff out? Like, I think that's going to be super valuable for our people as they come into the organization.